sound is better on this one. Tonight we're going to be... Welcome to episode 6. Today we're going to be joined with Paris, and we're going to be talking about change and how it is a choice to be happy. So I will just add her in there. Yay! Hello! Hi everyone! How are you?
Still the same as when we spoke 5 minutes ago. Still no.
Right. Okay. So, for this episode of episode 6 of the Voice of Women, we're going to be talking with Paris, and it's going to be all about change and a bit about Paris's journey and how, through the conversations that we've had, that we feel that it is a choice for us to be happy and to move on and forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we make, because we are all going to make them. So Paris, are you happy to start just chatting a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, so literally, like, I guess, I mean, okay, right. It's crazy really, because I've always wanted to do this, but you know, it's quite ironic how I believe everything happens for a reason, and you messaged me at almost like the right time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, I think people think I'm quite a public person, and I am in terms of business and my personality, but I'm actually extremely private, and there's probably most this year no one really knows about, but that's what
the real stuff about. Like, it's hard to talk about, because I suppose it's one of those things as well, you'd want it to come across right, and you don't want it to, like, people to be... I think the main thing is, I hear a lot of people saying, is being a victim. When we talk about things, we don't want it to be like, poor me, like,
exactly.
That's not why we want to talk about them. And I think that's what's nice about having these kind of conversations like this, because it's from that place of wanting to help other people who are in that place where you come from, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so I think I've always been into, I mean, of my sort of, my past relationship, we've always been into mindset and our perception on life and how we view day-to-day things from friends and family and your circle and things like that. We actually broke up at the beginning of the year, and it's quite funny really. It was my doing, and I kind of hit rock bottom, and I had 6 months of one of my friends, funny enough, in a session today, said you literally lost yourself, and that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
What people don't know is I probably drank more than I ever have in my life in a period of 6 to 7 weeks. And again, I would keep that completely off social media, and from a business perspective that would probably do more damage than you know, being my job and what, you know, being a personal trainer is what I do. And it is weird. I've never been completely spiritual, but I've always, I'm a massive universe person, manifestation. I believe in signs. I'll talk about that until, God, we could be here for hours. You know, I'll go in depth on that. And it's quite funny, is one day I was drinking, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had, this is going to sound crazy, and it was almost like somebody was forcing me out of sort of my bed, forcing me out of the house and driving me sort of away from the situation and circumstance that I constantly put myself in, putting it in the nicest way possible. And I, looking back at that period, it almost like it was a dream. It generally doesn't feel like it existed, and
like it wasn't you who you are now.
The thing is, it wasn't me. And even my ex-boyfriend, he had, don't know why, he backs me to this day in saying that was so far from you, and that's why he don't know why, and I owe him everything. He supported me through it. We weren't even together. So yeah, that sort of period taught me. But like I said, I've always read, and every time something bad has happened in life, or challenging is probably the best word, I enhanced my habits by 10. So instead of reading 10 pages a day, I would read 20. Going for a walk, I would extend the walk. Podcasts, I would listen to longer podcasts. Despite the
it's like your daily routine. That's what you'd spoken to me about, wasn't it? Like, it's like sticking to that routine and like making that routine in your habits. That's the word you used, was your habits.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. And I mean, as much as I think every time the year kind of sparked a bit of we've got through this, we're out of it, it was kind of something else hammered
throwing at you like that.
100%, yeah, 100%. I mean, if we're talking about story, I guess I can just talk. I'm assuming through this, and yeah, I think within a couple of weeks after that, kind of 6 weeks, I prayed for the first time in my life and begged the episode to stop. I was in my gym, which was currently at my ex-boyfriend's house, my home gym. I was on the floor, heart-wrenching, looked up and prayed for everything to stop because too much. I do believe in karma, I think, and I actually think that what I went through was karma. And I know a lot of people may disagree with me, and a lot of people may think they don't believe in karma, which is fine. But I feel like it was the universe telling me to, excuse my language, but seriously fucking change everything about. Yeah. I hurt a lot of people. I did a lot of things that I do regret, and I shouldn't. Well, I can't say regret, can I? No, I don't regret anything. So I did a lot of things that were probably wrong, but oh god, the lessons that I had to learn were insane.
Right, and you'd learn.
Yeah, and then funny enough, when that all went sort of positive life again, and obviously I was not homeless, but I was having to live with clients, which they are the best people in the world to me, even to this day. They know who they are, and they gave me a home for 4 months. Then I found out that I had a brother of 22 years that I knew nothing about, and I'm not an only child, but I have a step brother and sister. But he was my blood brother, yeah. And I've never known my birth dad. He died at a very young age, and for the first time I got photos, I got his name, all this stuff, and this on top of a breakup, on top of.
How was that for you? Because like that could be a positive thing or just like bad, because it's overwhelming.
Honestly, it was I was angry at I was angry at my mum for not telling me. I was scared because there was a lot of part of the family I wasn't aware of. I mean, I've got nan, aunties, and the scary thing, they all live within a 2-hour radius, and at some point I've passed all of their doorsteps. And at 28 years old, a massive part of my life I never knew about, and me and my brother are now in connection. He's been to my house, we talk, and again, and yeah, I've now got a bigger family, but even thinking about it is they very I've never cried so much. I can't describe that. I can't, weird, odd, the unknown. It's something that you don't, it's like a book. It was like I was in a movie and the movie was going to come to an end, but it never fucking did.
and it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah, because the thing is, for all of this, my stress levels were on another level through the roof. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got some amazing people around me, but I've lost an extremely amount of friends this year. I mean, an extreme amount of friends, but then the new people that have come into my life are so on my wavelength. They're so with me, solely they're mine, and I wouldn't change it. But no, that was a long
One of the things that I was going back to what you were saying when you were telling me like everything that you've been through and how like you've come out the other end of that, was that aspect of you thought like, I'm strong, I shouldn't be feeling this way, and trying to almost like push those emotions away and being like, and not giving yourself actually I don't know the right word, but giving yourself the space to be like, this is okay to be feeling that way.
Yeah, I was in huge denial.
Denial, right, of what you're feeling, but it's valid. Like,
you know what? It's funny. One of my friends come to my gym with to me today, and I said to him, "Oh, got my live tonight," and he was like, "Let me guess, you're going to say you're always all right," because that's my common phrase. Paris is always all right. Nothing phases me, and I think that's when people didn't know. No, and obviously there's still more chapters to my story, but no one knew what I was going through in any way. No, just literally no one knew. And I'm very good, unfortunately, I'm very, very good at hiding the truth. And I'm not saying I'm fake. I'm not faking the slightest, but my Instagram and social media is business and personality. I'm not a crier on social media, and I never will be. It's not me being fake. That's my life.
It's your coping mechanisms as well, though, isn't it? Like, and I think that is important, because it's the same like with me here. Like for me to make the art work and all these things, like it is a business. And I mean, for the kind of person that I am, I'm probably the opposite to you. Like, I can't keep anything in and anything personal. But I'm actually figuring that I've got ADHD, so that is a massive thing of that. So everything that's in my mind is just coming out. But like, I can imagine how that would feel, that like you don't want to be vulnerable because you've got an image to maintain, especially as like a personal trainer. Like, and I think that's what it is. Like, when you look at people like personal trainers or like professionals, right? like we see them and then we compare ourselves a lot of the time and see, well, they're doing okay, so why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? And I think that's what's so powerful about you, like going way out your comfort zone to talk about this.
Forced. I mean, can we just put I was forced to out my this? Trust me, no, I don't think I would choose any of these well, I mean now I would, but there's no way it was
No, but I mean forced out your comfort zone to talk about how the feelings that you've been feeling.
Which is cross right now, yeah. I think I'm still sweating. So
yeah.
like
but that's what I'm saying,
right
like,
now.
It's so brave of you, because there's so many people who find it so difficult to talk about what they're going through. And on you go.
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
I
was listening. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And I think that's what I was just saying, is that like just that feeling of me too. I always say this, that feeling of me too when you're going through the shit, just to know and just to see someone else that's like doing well after being through that. And it's not every day is going to be a good day, but like every day is going to be a step way further away from where you were. Right.
The thing is, I mean, now I can officially hand on heart say that, again, there's a few things that I guess I've not spoken about just yet, but I'm at the place I am now. yeah, that's fine. But the place I am now is, there was not one of these events that I would change. And even going down to the very beginning, I mean, I got into a state of paranoia and fear on another level. And I still can't change that, because I've always been confident. That's a lie. No, I've been confident for many years. I've always been into what we spoke about, you know, what I preach. But and I've always been happy in my previous relationship, you know, fantastic relationship. It was him that opened the doors to all of this. So I thank him for the rest of my life for that. But the sense of happiness that I have right now from, and even talking about it is a little bit, because I've shocked myself. The sense of happiness from the soul, from like right this minute, I can feel it. I've never thought I could possibly be as happy as I am now with the people that are around me. They all, in some way, they all build me and grow. And yeah, I could say, it's weird. It's always been so much to me, and it's been the worst year of my life, but by God, the best year ever, and I wouldn't change it.
And isn't that, I think that's kind of how things always end up balancing themselves out, right? Like when you're, and I think that sense of hope, like for people that are in that state and they just can't see a way out, and everything's just dark, I suppose, that just like there's just keep going, because like it can't, like change is a good thing and a bad thing, right? If you're in a bad place, that shit is great, because there's hope for change. But if you're in an amazing place, then there's also that thing of like change. And I think
the thing is with, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, we've all been that. I was not always like this. It took me years to become this person. But people moan, people bitch about how life is against them and become a victim of their own life. And one thing, Matthew McConaughey, famous quote, you know, life was never fair, life's not fair now, life never will be. And people believe that they're a victim in their self, and people moan, but no one's willing to help themselves. And there'll be many people that will watch this, and I know, do you read, do you listen to podcasts, do you generally help yourself to change your mindset? No, moan to somebody else then. And I mean that in the most respectful way. If you're not willing to help yourself, what can you possibly moan about? If you're not willing to change any of your actions, if you don't change, life doesn't change. And that's in fitness, that's in mindset, that's in literally anything. And my life has done the biggest 360. I don't generally think my life could change more drastic than what it has right now. But every little thing that's happened, there has been a massive lesson to be learned. And even if, and you know, I live alone, and I officially have to, not say pay bills on my own as such, but obviously there's no support. It's just me, myself and I as such. And wouldn't change it for the world. But I believe that everything has prepared me for right now to know that I can seriously do it with anyone. And everyone that's in my life right now, I don't generally need any of them. I'm hand picking them and choosing them to stay in my life.
And that's so beautiful. The only one thing that I would add to that is just like, obviously, because I know like with how you are as well, like there's certain situations and certain scenarios where people are more privileged than other people, like especially in the world, and especially like where we are now in this country, there's like so many more privileges. And I just wanted to add to that because I know that you know that too, and it's not
please,
that it's
please don't think that I'm
Yeah.
saying that, you know, but
don't moan. There's the certain things that certain people can't change, and that's how their lives have been because they've not been as privileged as others, just the way things are. But what you're saying is it's that way of like, there's people moan about all the things they can change, especially people, and I think more often it's people who are in privileged situations moaning and moaning and moaning, and it's like there's so much you can do to change where you are. Why are you still moaning?
But this is the problem, and the thing is, I think what and people hate to hear this, but you are in charge of every aspect of your life, and no one will change my mind on that. We have a choice of, I'm going to say this, I've listened to a podcast, we have the choice to be happy, and we can choose everything. Something happens and yeah, you know, be sad, be angry, be upset, you'll need to. We still have the choice. And I understand when it comes in money privilege, you know, that there's many other things, but they will have their own obstacles. They've just got money privileges. It doesn't mean that they won't have any different. My background, I am not close to my family, and my parents, trust me, do not do any of this. This is all down to my previous relationship, everything. I've not been brought into any of this, and financially I've never had any support other than obviously relationship and those supports that come with that. So I've done everything on my own in that aspect of things. So
for sure.
But yeah, we have the choice.
Like when I went to Thailand, I think that is what was such an eye-opener to me, because I was in a lot of places and I was teaching English over there in underprivileged schools. Like it was a voluntary thing, and I just seen like these kids had nothing, like nothing. They didn't even have parents because of the way that I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole other conversation. But what you realise with these people, and Thai people are known as the happy people, but so many of these people had nothing. And I think that's what you're saying, a mindset. Like obviously we're so much more privileged than these people, and the privileges that they will never have, but they're so happy. You give them a banana and they're just so happy, and obviously it's heartbreaking that they're in this situation, but their mindset are so much better than ours a lot of the time, because like they appreciate everything and they aren't playing that victim. And if they're trying to make changes, they're trying to sell coconuts on the side of the street or just to try and make that change instead, and you never hear them moaning once about anything.
I think our issue is that we constantly compare ourselves to other people, and I used to do this from a body point of view to possibly even a life, but a bit like today, there'll be a lot of people, well, no, majority of people that had no idea what I've gone through, and I'm not looking for violins, it's just fact of my year. And I think we forget that everybody has their own challenges, and no one's got it easier. Not really, because they will have their own challenges behind what's easier. I think we should appreciate everyone through where they have gone and how they've got there.
100%.
You know, 100%. So but yeah, so yeah.
And when we were talking about that thing of, obviously, like when you were saying, there was a lot you were saying about the journey of you forgiving yourself and being in those situations and learning to forgive yourself. I don't know if you want to go into that in more detail or not.
Yeah, of course. I think that actually said that when I realised that I forgave myself for the people I hurt, and I wrote it down, and as much as certain people may not think that it's fair for me to be in the state of happiness I am because of what I've done, but we all, you know, we figure it out. But how that started was I didn't have health issues. I thought I was having health issues, and my body was showing signs of certain things, and the hospital kind of told me to take yourself to hospital, but don't drive. Yes. But I did drive, because you do. So I drove to hospital. I wasn't really supposed to, and thankfully one of my friends found out, and he was there for 6 hours for A&E. And there's a point to this, I promise. So,
no, I know.
I drove myself to hospital, and this must have been, how long am I gym now? I gym for 8 weeks, probably 9 weeks ago maybe. And I had blood tests. I had tests before this, going to hospital. I had tests after. But I'm not even joking when I say for 6 hours I had the drip, had everything, and no one knew this. And they told me they said that I could have leukemia, and I only get upset because of the fact that people do. And I don't. This is not a poor Paris, because there's people that generally have things and go through worse. But at the end of the day, this is what I got told.
This is your story. This is about your story.
Sorry, of course, yeah. And for 6 hours, I've never held back tears. I did do, and for a split second, I thought, holy crap, I've got I've got leukemia. I can't even put. But anyway, so obviously I haven't, guys. I haven't. My tests come back, everything was fine, and they took more blood tests and more this, more that, and everything was fine. And then the doctor rang me 2 weeks later and said, Paris, your forms, you wrote down stress, because my lymph nodes were swollen in my groin, arms, and my neck. And for those that don't know, not down great, you know, lymph nodes only swell where there is an infection. During the internet tell you this, and according to doctors and the Google, lymph nodes cannot swell through stress. They do not.
Wow,
I got told this over and over. So I had tests off my own back to think, well, something's obviously wrong. My body is seriously going into some sort of meltdown. And this doctor rang me and he said, Pav, you've wrote down this, this, and this. Can you please tell me about your year? That doctor, I owe him everything, because when he was like my therapist, and I literally listed everything. And then I said, I said, on top of that, you guys have told me that I can have leukemia.
Yeah, on top of everything.
To top everything off. And he said, right, Paris, when do you move into your gym? Because the gym was causing issues with me and my ex at the time. It weren't a great space. He said, when do you move to your gym? I went, 2 weeks. He said, right, in 4 weeks and nothing's changed, bring me back. Within 2 weeks after I moved into my gym, I had my house, my body literally resolved itself. And this is where and I had a bit of a cry my heart out, of course I did. And that's when the whole forgiveness element came in, because everything that I put myself through, okay, yes, it was the shit from the drinking and the bad crowd I got involved into, my family and unknown family members, to the gym, to just literally everything. I chose to put all this stress on myself. No one made me. It wasn't the doctor's fault. It wasn't my mum's fault. The brother. It weren't my breakup. It wasn't the drinking. I chose the drink. I chose all of that. And then the result of 6 to 9, whatever months it was, almost put me in hospital. All my fault, all my choice. And I literally had that. I'm like, do you know what? I value my life, my time on another level, that I forgive. And I literally, I forgave myself for every bad thing I did. And if people don't forgive me for that, do you know what? Then you do not belong in my life. And I'm happy to cut family, friends off and everyone. And that's where the forgiveness side comes of it. And people can throw things at me than what I've done in the past. You do that for you, because I ain't gonna affect me anymore. I've had too much.
I think it's great, like, coming to like how you've been able to like come to terms with all of that. And you know, like, it takes a lot to like acknowledge your own responsibility in certain things when you were like, as you're saying, like, you'd lost yourself, and it's then easy to blame other people as a coping mechanism. And obviously there will be loads of aspects of that wasn't fully your fault, because especially as other people become involved, like, you know,
I mean, from an events thing, yes, it wasn't my fault on the family, but it was my fault. It was my fault for drinking. It was my fault in getting
and how you dealt with it.
Nobody, but at the time, it's what I thought I needed, and that's fine. The thing is, people don't like to be told you're in control of your life. People like to think, you know, when you're ill, go to doctors, get a pill. They like to put the control in someone else's hands. And I'm sorry to anyone who watches this. The steps you make are down to you. The things that happen in your life are the events from the steps that you took. Seriously, soak that up now. Acknowledge it and change, because it's never gonna be us. We are in control of everything, and I'll believe that wholeheartedly. So,
and I think with what you were saying as well, with stress, about it being a silent killer,
yes,
like I love that conversation that we had about that, in terms of like, we're not in this part of the world, like, there's so much stress that's put on us, and we put on ourselves and society. And also there is a lot, and I always say this, like, there is a lot of these things that you're talking about, saying it's your fault, that are subconsciously being told to you by society and the world in which we live. And I think for me, how I like to look at things is like acknowledging that to start with, like, to not put all of the blame on ourselves, but to acknowledge how we can move forward and change that. Because there's like, our environment has, if we're in a toxic environment, our body's going to feel a certain way, and sometimes it is really hard to remove ourselves from that, especially when we're more and more and more and more stressed. And what I think's really beautiful about the way that you look at life and look at everything and your situation and your story is that you in that moment realize that, okay, right, I need to make a change, but like there's still all these amazing people along the journey that you've even, like, you know, given credit to and given them, like, thank goodness they were there and they said this, thank goodness they were there and said that. But the thing is, the difference is you listened, right? Whereas and you took that on board to make that change and to learn, and you're trying to learn all the time.
I do, yeah.
And I think that's when we get into these places, like, it's having that mindset of, right, how can I, like, learn how to get out of this, almost like making it a challenge, right?
But then this boils down to, you know, we must, you know, everyone's probably heard you are the 5 people you surround yourself the most with.
Yeah.
If you're within a toxic environment, I'm sorry to say, I'm a bit ruthless. My girls know I'm very ruthless. I don't sugarcoat unless it's needed. You've still made the choice to put yourself in that friend circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yourself out. And I'm really sorry, but no, it is that simple. Family members, blood means nothing until you live up to that part. You are not a mum if you don't live up to becoming the mum that you should be.
Yeah.
And there's a few things that people will not change my mind on. I'm so sorry. And
no,
people feel obligated to people. That's the issue as well.
Yeah. No, 100% hear you. 100% hear you.
There's something else I think we need to learn to be selfish in the fact where
you're selfish.
But it doesn't help. It doesn't affect other people. I am a selfish person, not to the point where you'll be affected. I'm very caring. I'm generous. I put a lot of good out in the world because, again, I'm a universe person and I put that. So, you know, but my mindset is the most important thing in the world to me, and everybody should have that same aspect. But it probably just comes down to people don't know how to, but I think people don't want to because it's hard work. It's taken me years to get here. It's hard work.
Yeah, it is. And it is hard. And I think it is that, like, what you're saying is some people don't know how to, and then when they see, but then there are a lot of people, and, like, who aren't. I suppose it's that kind of thing. It's difficult when you, like, talk on these kind of things when it's like a conversation between me and you, and, like, we both get where other people are coming from, and I don't want to ever, like, have someone sitting there watching this being in that position, or, like, in a position, and then, like, them not knowing how to get themselves out of it. I mean, like, yeah, no, I'm trying, but I don't know how.
But listening to this, I've already said books, podcasts, and you don't want to chuck meditation in there because I'm a meditation freak as well. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking there's 3 things, start now, and you tell me, you come back to me in 6 weeks time and you tell me your life hasn't changed. If you invest in yourself, the thing is, to change, you must change. You need to change your daily habits. You need to change your
And that's how we started this whole thing, right?
100%. And don't,
the habits.
Yes, 100%. People outwardly moan. I know it sounds bad, but outwardly moaning about something, your subconscious hears it. You believe everything you say.
Yeah.
I do not say a negative thing about myself verbally. It's literally a book. It's a brain dump book. I use this every night. I will never say outwardly bad things about myself. And I'm sitting here today and I truly love the person I am. I've never been this person before, and I won't change it at all. And
I think that's what's so beautiful about your story is the fact that you have, like, you've been through that, and obviously, like, for the sake of this, there's certain things that you've, like, not spoken about because, you know, that's totally personal to you.
Not quite prepared there.
You what?
I said I'm not quite prepared just yet.
Yeah, no, but, like, you know, there's certain aspects
I'll write a book.
Like, everyone doesn't need to know about. Do you know what I mean? And that's totally fine. But what the main point that I was wanting to make is, like, you've been to that place and to that the bottom of that place. So it's not like you're just sitting here in this fairyland, like, guys, just go to a meditation. Like,
honestly,
you know what I mean? Like,
the amount of people that said to me when I got my new gym, but again, this was from a friend, one of my, you know, the guy who comes to hospital with me, it was him. He got me the gym. He helped me more than ever. But the amount of people that go, well, it's okay for you, and you're looking. I never told my story, so I'm like, you fucking wait, mate.
You don't know.
You seriously just wait, because there is nothing lucky about my year. It's hard work. It's graft that people do not see behind closed doors. It's the meditation people don't know I do. It's the reading people don't know I do. It's self-care on another level.
And it's self-care. It's
everything. All of this comes down to the same thing, from making a choice to change your life. And if you want help, then reach out. We all need help and support. And that's another thing that took me a while to learn, that I do need help. And but on my bad days, I'll read 10 more pages. You know, I enhance my habits by 100 on days where I need it, because I guess living on my own and being on my own more, who else have I got to help me? I haven't. I've got myself. So I'm my own priority every day. And, you know, I hope that I'm stronger tomorrow than what I was yesterday. And to me, it's kind of second nature now. It's kind of easy. It is what it is. But I understand it's a long journey. But guys, message me. You want to help? Trust me, I'll be there. 100%.
Yeah, right.
My girls know.
I love that. I love that. And going back to what we were talking about the people we surround ourselves with, the moldy fruit. I love when you chatted to me about the moldy fruit.
Oh, right, yes, sorry.
You're like, God. What moldy fruit? I was like, you know, the moldy fruit.
Yeah, you've got a fruit bowl, you put a moldy fruit in there, what happens to the rest of it? Yeah, it's definitely 100%. No, other way around. I know what I meant.
It's moldy. Like, and I think that is such a good way of, because I know for me, like, I, growing up, have been, and I was always that people pleaser. I wanted everyone to feel happy. I wanted to please everyone all the time. And going through this whole journey of doing all these paintings, I was like, I can't sit here doing the voice of women and not be like on this kind of like level that you're chatting of, like, if you're not going to give yourself that self-love and that self-belief, then who else is going to show up for you every day? It's you, and that's it. And then that's when I realized, like, I looked at some of the people that I had around me, and I'm like, wow, like, it's not good energy. And also, these people, if they're gonna go do their work and then come back to me, okay, fine, like, I'm like, that's a whole other conversation and a whole other cycle. But like, and I think we kind of brushed over the point of that I want to go back to and put more emphasis on, was the selfishness. We're taught that selfishness is a bad thing. Don't do stuff for yourself. And what I've realized very recently is that the people who are there for you when you're selfish and aren't there for them, they see it for how it is, instead of like, oh, but why not me? Like, what about me?
Yeah, I think you can put selfishness into confidence, and to have it being proud of your achievements. All those things actually come together in one. We're taught that I think we, you know, even in school, you're not taught to acknowledge what you've done right. And I know you can sometimes see people's faces when you go, oh God, yeah, I've done amazing, my business is doing great. They're like, oh right. And it's almost like you can't be proud of your achievements.
Yeah. They don't like your light shining too bright.
100%. Or like, you know, you look nice and you can outwardly, God, geez, I look really fucking good today.
That is such a big one for me.
And what's the issue? You're not going to be, the thing is, you're not going to be anybody else. Like, none of us, we're never going to be anyone else. So if you don't love yourself, if you don't want to be all cheesy now, don't love yourself. So that's, do you want to appreciate who you are, and you have the confidence to go, you feel sexy as fuck, and there is nothing wrong with that.
And be able to say that when you do it.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it. You're not going to be anyone else. You've got to own what you've got. If you want to change from a, you know, a fitness point of view, you want to lose body fat, then well, you go and do that. Yeah. But just appreciate where you are along the way and enjoy the journey. And that's from anything. And being selfish, I mean, it's probably one of the best things I've done. Again, I really want to repeat myself. It doesn't affect people. Selfish is not a bad thing. It's just protecting yourself. And, you know, that's you're just protecting yourself from toxic negativity. And I don't know why people don't do this more. I'm now at a point where I'm like, I don't get it. Why would you not want to be that person and be so incredibly happy with who you are, and nothing will beat it. It will be the most amazing thing.
Yeah. What was the word that came into my head just now when you were saying that? Appreciating our, like, knowing our worth, right? And knowing our value, like, because that is like, see, being a creative, and you're probably the same, like, knowing how much to charge for your sessions and your work and this and that, like, on a daily basis.
Yeah, I know.
I look fucking awesome.
I just read that as well when I was like. So yeah, that is actually the guy who that's a really good friend of mine. He's the one that got the gym for me and put the mirror. I did read that corner of my eye.
We love to see it. But yeah, like, you know, you actually need to challenge yourself and realize that you, like, there's certain moments where you have to put worth on yourself. And I know it's the first thing I always do is undervalue myself and go, no, like, I'm not going to do that, because if I don't see my value, then who else is going to? And then that's when we need to forgive ourselves, right, for letting people cross our boundaries and, like, letting people walk over us and making us do things that we didn't want to do. But actually, like, in a lot of situations, we didn't stand up and say, wait, hold on a minute, like, because like I know and this is me speaking from my own point of view, from where I was to where I am now, is just knowing how to say no, because I know my worth. Because a lot of time when I didn't feel like I knew my worth, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, what do you want me to do, what do you want me to do? Whereas now I'm like, no, I don't like that, I don't want to do that, I don't want to go there.
I think once you reach that place, it's so hard to go back. And I don't want to keep referring to my ex-boyfriend, but again, as this is a story time as such, he'll most likely be, you know, we're I wouldn't say we're friends as such, but we're good. And he'll probably be swearing like crazy at me right now, because he pushed and pushed in a positive push for me to do everything. And all I would do was read, and I did it quite lightly, but I guess it has to be the right time. And that is another thing with all this stuff I'm talking about. It still has to be the right time, but there is a fine line between constantly moaning and doing nothing, and then just, you know, reading, and it's got to be, find the right thing. Like podcasts, I'm not very good at listening to podcasts unless it's been recommended. And I just say, as a yes, keep saying once you get there, you'll never go.
And that's why I love having this conversation with you, because like you'll just say it like straight how it is, and I'm like, yeah, but there's also people like this and like that. No, but it's good. Like that's like everything needs balance and everything. And I love this comment. So many people don't know how to accept someone knowing their worth, and I fucking love that, because it's so true. Like we don't like I met this amazing woman in London, and she just walked in, right? She came into my house, walked up to the mirror, and starts checking herself out, but not to be like, oh, like, do I look okay? I was just like, oh, you know, she was just looking at herself, and you could tell she was like, oh, I'm looking fine today, and it made my heart feel so warm. But I think, like, if you're feeling insecure in yourself, it's hard to appreciate someone showing their worth, because I don't know, is it jealousy? But then it's not necessarily, jealousy probably isn't the right word to use in that, but I know we had that conversation about jealousy as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm sorry, but I think it is jealousy. I think there's different levels of jealousy, and this takes me on to two things really. You know, I don't believe you can ever give an insult, you just choose to take it. But then this takes us back to a choice of a feeling. Choosing to be happy, choosing to be angry, choosing to be
because an insult is only an insult if you decide to be offended.
You are the one that decided to take it. Again, it's not easy. I'm not a robot. I understand.
Yeah, and we have feelings.
Yeah, 100%. But you still have that choice to how you take it. And I actually say those words to my girls all the time if they've got issues. I think I'm like half a counsellor, which they use me as, which, you know, is great. And I say to them, you know, you can't. They don't ever give an insult. You choose to take it. And when people put their insecurities on you, and I think with me being, I am confident, but until people know me, they probably think I'm not arrogant in the slightest. There's not one ounce of arrogance in me, but people can almost never say a good thing to me because she already knows it, and that can turn into a bit. And that you know, people put their insecurities on you, and there's people out there that will never ever say well done to me. They will never ever say nice home, you've done this. Because it is an element of jealousy, and it's things that they feel they can't do, or if you've glowed up so amazing that they haven't, well, fuck her then. And it is that mentality, and it's disgusting.
And I do think that it's like with the people that are sometimes closest to you, like they're the ones who don't like it the most, because they think, oh, that could have been me. And it is I think that is what you just said there is perfect. A lot of the time it's that projection of their own insecurities, but also like because I know there's been times where I've done stuff like that, or if like, you know, I'm feeling anxious in myself, not about like looks or anything like that, but in a situation and you snap because you're just feeling anxious that day, I've now started to realise, I'm sorry, that wasn't you, that's the place that I'm in because I'm feeling anxious right now. But before I realised how to communicate like what was going on there,
yeah, like, definitely,
it's total projection of my stress.
The thing is, if I think back, you can literally think back of different events in your life, and you can see why you responded to certain ways once you're in tune with yourself. And this is the thing, people aren't in tune with themselves, and they're not in tune with their emotions. They don't understand their own thought process, and that's what needs to change. If I go back when I didn't embrace the craziness of my hair, and I saw somebody that had beautiful, slender, blonde hair, I could feel myself being a bit, and if I really think about it, that's because I didn't have their hair. I didn't embrace my own.
When your hair is so gorgeous, it's so right, but it's so easy to go and do that and see that and see, well, that's not me. And I think hair, is such a big thing across cultures, across genders, and all these things for so many people. And like, it's such a big thing of our appearance, but actually, like, one of my best friends, her hair is not dissimilar to yours, and it's amazing. Every time I see her, I was like, oh, your hair is so great, because I love, like, for me, I just think, but then that's probably because my hair is not like curly, and like, oh, I just like love curly hair, like I love, like, it's just.
To be fair, I do truly love. I actually do love my hair. A lot of people assume that I don't, but no, I didn't used to. I never used
but
to.
That's what I mean. I think
do.
that's also like a whole journey, and like there's so many people, and like so many people in my family as well, and they're trying to cover up their hair, and I'm just like, oh, don't let them get into your head. And do you know, my auntie actually the other day talking about hair, she was going to go get her hair relaxed. She's got an afro, and she's going to get her hair relaxed. And me and my cousin were like, don't let them tell you, like, your hair is beautiful. She's like, I didn't even think of it like that, but she says, I know subconsciously that's why I'm going to get my hair relaxed. I'm like, don't.
I had to just skip over the something that I've been want to say. You just touched on family. You before we got on about hair, you touched on family being the worst of critics. And I just want to say one thing that for everyone to remember is people, friends and family, they put you in a box, you know. So, oh, that's John who works in a factory, that's Paris who's just the PT. And I get that a lot, just the PT. Yeah, fucking just call me just the PT, seriously. Then you will see an anger that I didn't know I had. And no, people put you in boxes, and if you come out of that box, people don't like you to change. They're not saying you're better than everyone, but I think it is. Yeah, not saying we're not better than anybody. We're all very equal. But in their head, oh, now she's better than me. And I actually think with my year, anyone who spoke to me at the beginning of the year that is not in my life now, you have no idea who I am. And I'm out of any box that anyone put me in. And I think that's probably why I've lost all those friends. It's why I don't speak to any of them, or they don't speak to me. I you know, there's I think that's why, because I'm officially not in the same box anymore.
They're seeing the box that they put you in their 100%,
head. Yeah, and people struggle to get out of that, and people don't like watching other people grow if they haven't got the confidence or the knowledge to do that. And it's crazy, and it's like I go to a sports therapist. This is really random. A sports therapist, their name's Tilly. I've only seen her a couple of times. We're actually really on par with each other, and bless her, she sent me a message before I come on here. You know, is she a friend? I mean, I guess, yeah, she's a really great person. We got on so well. It's amazing, the people that support you that aren't even in your circle. And it shocks me. Even this one thing that shocked me, and the messages I got leading up to this, they weren't from the people I expected it from. There were people that are outside, and it just shows you, again, the people that are close to you don't always want to see you succeed and grow. But unfortunately, cut them off just like that. Won't take me long at all. I'm ruthless.
Yeah, but it's so good. Like, and like, what is it? Like, my sister is very much like you, how you are, and she always goes to me that she was like, Kelly, you're not being very boss ass bitch right now. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So that, like, if I, you know, she always like checks me. She's like, Kelly, no, she says,
I mean, I feel like I do need to clarify to anyone who's watching, I'm not a cow, I'm not a nasty person.
No, you're
not. I'm very me in my life, and I being positive every single day. Like, you know, I make that choice. So yeah, and funny enough, a really good friend of mine sent me this podcast the other day, and funny enough, I've got the book sitting in front of me which turned up today, and it's amazing how one little podcast can literally change your head to everything.
Oh my gosh,
and the thing is,
like, that's how. Sorry,
no, carry on, it's fine.
I just thought we were going to make a point. I was just going to add to what you were saying, is that's literally how I discovered that I had ADHD from watching a TED Talk. I was like, wait. And then yeah, it's like, and I think, like, it's so hard, because I've been in that headspace where my head was just dark, and it's so hard to make that first spark of light. But then as you start, like, if the ball's not rolling and it's sitting like this, it's like, okay, how to get moving now. And it's like, it starts off so slowly and so heavy at first, and it's like what you're talking about, by listening to podcasts and listening to other people who, oh, what's the book?
Oh God, I feel like I'm on I feel like you got Steph, right? So Steph, I'll send you the podcast. You can listen to that first. But the book is cool. Do I get paid for this? Scary smart. And I can't even begin. I literally feel like I'm promoting this, and I can't even begin to tell you how amazing this is. And funny enough, I feel really bad. Camera keeps dropping. I feel really bad because a lot of what I said about choice and happiness, they're not my words. They're these words, which I stole. But no, it's amazing. And Steph, I'll send you the link to it, who somebody sent it to me. And I can't even, amazing. It will, yeah, that just said everything. And yeah.
But it's things like that, and I think that's funny that you just said that, because that's exactly what I was just trying to get onto. It's by listening to other people's words and other people's voices when their balls rolling, because they're in this positive headspace. When we're in that place of the ball's not going anywhere, when we listen to that, it sparks a little bit of movement, and then another one is like a little bit more movement, and then it goes from that place of your journey that we're talking about at the beginning of this live to where you are now, embracing all these things, loving yourself, and on this whole journey of self-discovery. Your balls now just like, you know, everything's like working how it should. Stress being a silent killer, that all starts to drop off. Like the lymph nodes all doing fine, I presume.
Well, I haven't gone to the hospital again. I'm not stepping foot in one of those for a long time. Don't go back to the doctors, but I'm healthy. I know I am. And I think deep down, stomach down,
your face when I said that, I was like, wait, what?
I think deep down I knew that I was fine, but you trust the people that tell you these things. And no, that was just that was a horrendous time. The whole year, I've cried more than I've laughed this year, but I generally do laugh every single day. I can guarantee I probably laugh every single day. And somebody, funny enough, it was the guy who recommended the book and the podcast to me. He was like, "Perhaps you don't just get passionate about the life. You get passionate about like a tree that's in a bright orange color in the middle of it." And the thing is, I have a complete new, wow, it's gonna sound cheesy, a complete new appreciation for my life and my time, and that's why. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's appreciating the little things and just like seeing the beauty. When you can start doing that, then there's something beautiful in every day. And like,
yeah, I mean, sorry, I actually just want to say one thing, because not everyone watches my story on Instagram. So someone asked me a question when I did a question box, and they said, "What's your daily motivation?" And this is very relevant. And a long time ago, I read this book, and there was an Italian quote, and the Italian quote read, "One day you're going to die." And this guy wrote this down in a journal every single day in Italian, but one day you're going to die. And I know it sounds morbid, but in reality it's not, it's fact. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, just reading that, to me, that's how it felt. I was like, holy fuck, I ain't wasting my time. Yeah. If you're not complimenting me, you can go. I'm a massive thing about a team, building a team, you know, future husband, you know, those kind of things, future family, kids, that kind of thing. It's your team, it's your...
And that feeling of what a team means is just like, support, it's that feeling.
Growth, that's what it's about, you know. And
if you're not a team player,
I could go into a whole relationship podcast on here, my views on that. Trust me, people take so much for granted, and people get lazy in their life. That's the problem. It's laziness. It's that 9 to 5. Well, that's so normal.
Easy.
There's fucking normal about working a 9 to 5 and watching TV till you go to sleep. Nothing normal about it at all. Where you growing, where you're building, where is the life you're living for a weekend? Never, not me.
The system. It's a system. That's the system.
But we choose. We have the choice. Everything we've getting angry now, getting passionate. Everything we talk about, it's not new news. It's been out there, and especially since COVID and lockdown, there's so much positivity that's thrown, even on, not as much the news, but through social media everywhere. People are still choosing to stick to the system and the government guidelines. I don't mean by COVID, by the way. I mean by in living living your life and what's seen as the norm, and living for the Friday, the Saturday. All of you choose to do it. No one forces you to live that way. And that whole Monday, we've got to go to work on Monday. Change your fucking job. Who said you got to stay in that job that you don't like? There's nothing wrong with the Monday. Monday's an amazing day. Nothing wrong with it at all. There's no concept of time. Time doesn't exist, so a Monday is irrelevant. Change your fucking job. Simple as that.
It's so great. And I think I've actually been speaking to a lot of people like in the corporate world, a few people through these things. I just see Nicola come in there, it threw me off.
I'm trying not to look.
I know, there's like the little thing. A lot of people in the corporate world who are making all this money because that's what society, right, tells them to do. So they're like, if I'm hard working, and sometimes we talk to ourselves in this way that, okay, I'm going to be strong and powerful if I do this, and this, and then that starts being the mental dialogue in their mind, and that's what they then believe, and people believe, and as humans we believe it's going to help us succeed. And what I've figured out by speaking to a lot of these people who've been in corporate, made it to the top, made the money, just on the live I did on Wednesday with Kim, she's like, at 28 I was making more money, like loads of money, and I was like, I don't want to do this. So then it's like, and I think that ties in, that's such a beautiful example of what you're talking about. That was a choice okay, she's no longer working in that job and working in the corporate, but she's a lot happier. She's now a coach and is working on her own. And it's like, yeah, I'm just like basically reiterating what you're already saying as an example.
Yeah, no,
but
definitely.
yeah, like 100%.
No, something you said just reminded me of. I'm a bit of a learner. I do a lot of research. And something you just said reminded me of. I think it was actually Jim Carrey was on about. We're on about like being in a state of not so much depression, but I think with changing our view on things and finding it hard, which you said quite a few times. And I think Jim Carrey says something like depressed is just a phrase of deep rest, and it's your mind being in a state of deep rest. And I think if people who just acknowledge that a little bit more, you're just in a phase of deep rest. I think it's absolutely bloody amazing. I love it. And I think you'll still be able to find answers into letting go, realizing, and tell yourself you're going to die soon. Trust me, it changes everything.
It changes everything. And see, just adding on to what you I know I've already said this some other time, but I figure this is what I learned about depression. Is so obviously like a lot of people, it's anxiety and depression, they're all like interlinked. But depression comes when your body can no longer stay in a state of anxiety anymore. So yes. It's literally your body saying, stop.
Yeah,
listen to me. Because when you're feeling anxious, there's a reason for it. If it's because you're not living a life that your body wants you to be living, and you're working for this corporate world, and you're trying to do all these things that you can't manage, whatever it is, and you're not listening, and you go further and further into this hole, and then, well, obviously your body's like, okay, well, now it's time you really need to listen to me, because you're not going to be able to get out of your bed. Good luck.
100%, yeah. And I don't no disrespect to people that are in a depressed state who are watching this, and because I get it must. I've never witnessed it. I've probably been a percentage of a whole at the beginning of the year, but I've never been depressed myself. But it doesn't help that we go to the doctors and we get a pill to problem.
Yeah,
you're not actually solving the root of anything.
What's put your body.
So what on earth makes you think you're going to come out of that depressed state? You're never ever going to come out of it unless you take the steps to help yourself. Again, completely appreciate that it's not that easy. I get that.
Yeah.
But then again, people, I'm so sorry to offend anyone. You're never willing to help yourself that bit more. You're never willing to push yourself that bit more. That, I'm so sorry, is on you. And I can't regret saying that.
I think see in terms of things like that, like I think for the majority of people, I'm 100% here for what you're saying. But see, like what always comes into my mind when I think of like that point of like really where do you go is because obviously my background was in occupational therapy, and sometimes like I would be on placement with a patient and I'd be like, how the hell, like what is it can I do to help this person from where they are now? And even me, like sitting with like the experience that I've got and I've been taught, I'm sitting there like, okay, now what? And then that's when you realize, like, how must they be feeling? Because there's like, you know, especially in a system like that, there's things you go through, calling like next of kin, other people around them. Some people have no one on any of these lists and none of these things. And actually, like, there are some people who are like staying in the hospital because they don't have a home to go back to. And it's like these kind of things. It's then like, okay, now what? And when you're sitting there from the outsider perspective, okay, like now what? Then you totally understand why there are people in these situations that it's like, how are you getting out of? But I think like what you're saying about choice, but it's also like that's been a life of choices, and a life of choices from people around you who haven't supported you. If that's been family or friends, or families that haven't supported their child, and it's been a mother or a mother before that, and then it's like generational trauma. Like,
yeah, I get that.
Like at the end of the day, it does come back to choices and people not making choices.
This is the thing. I mean, I think I'm so tough love on some things, and I would say my girls know it, but they're still there, so they must love a part of it. But you know, I think sometimes
you need that friend. And
this is the thing. Like, I think the reason why I really despise being called just a PT is because I'd like to think my girls would agree that I like to coach them on every area, and I'm a bit of a research. I'm a bit of a research freak, and I like to learn because I don't learn very well, so I like to learn more because I don't absorb information very well.
Yeah, I totally can relate to that.
But again, I think everything in my life becomes better in myself, and I even practice detachment. I've started practicing detachment up to about 4 weeks ago now, because there's a chance that everyone in your life at some point could vanish and you will never speak to them again, and I now practice detachment, and I'd like to say that I'm prepared if
what do
people...
you do when you say you practice detachment? Because this is something that I struggle
it's
with.
More, it's literally more from another aspect of reading and meditation that comes hand in hand. Okay. I think everybody should do it, because this is where it comes with not everyone stays in your life, and people that need people, if you need anybody, practice detachment, because not everyone's going to stay there. And I always say, like, if you're scared of being alone, be alone. You need to learn
yeah.
We could go, well, I can't believe we missed that. And, you know, I think being alone is absolutely bloody great, if you ask me. Jesus Christ, asking myself, always clean. You can't put a price on that. But no, yeah, so I started practicing detachment. And again, if people are going to leave your life, Jesus Christ, it's not going to be easy. But I know for a fact, I do strongly believe that anything that threw my way right now, I'd be able to handle everything. Absolutely, nothing surprised me anymore.
It's also your expectations. Great point. Agree. It's about breaking the chain between generational patterns. Yeah. But I think, what were you talking about? Attachment.
Detachment.
Detachment. Yeah, it's about your expectations, isn't it? Like, I think that's such a big thing, and I notice for how I react to things. Like, if I'm attached to something, but if I've got an expectation that, like, someone's gonna leave, or like up to, like, you know, they're not gonna be in my life forever, then when they leave, you're like, oh, okay. But then you've got this mental chatter, and they should have been in my life forever, and then they leave. Then it's like panic, right?
But again, we could go back to, it's your fault. You feel that way. Like, if you're relying on somebody and they leave, you chose to rely on them.
And yeah.
And literally everything we talk about, we can go back to the same point. Everything's a big leap. We would literally repeat ourselves, but I guess it's just and I do try to teach everyone this, and I've got a client currently, funny enough, and she actually nearly brought me to tears the other day, because watching her grow and absorbing information that I've told her, and she's doing things that I tell her to do, and she's
just like watching the ball.
I can't even describe it. And I sort of called her a mate, and becoming like a boss bitch now. She's just amazing, and she's growing in a way that I didn't think she had in her. I'll be honest with you, and I'm so shocked, and I think that's it's just education, growth. Oh God, I won't stop. You know, I don't get to talk about this to many people. There's not many people that get it and absorb it and love it. And when you get the chance to, I'm just like a kid in a toy store. And I think
that's what's quite hard about having these conversations, because if for people who are in that place of, like, and being like, oh yeah, but like, you don't get, you know, not victiming, but kind of victiming, being like, you don't get where I am. It's kind of, what was the point of what I was going to say? Your friend. Oh yeah, like, you don't know how much you can grow until you start trying and start on that journey. Like, it's easy, like, oh yeah, that was it. It's easy to be offended by, like, the conversations that we are having just now. Obviously, we can't take into consideration everyone's individual, like, points, but it is that kind of thing of, like, it is a journey, and you have to do the work, and it's easy to pick out things of what people are saying, and being like, and make excuses instead of trying to understand. Does that make sense?
It does. I think the thing is, if I go back to everything that happened this year, it all led a different form of emotion. Everything was a different area from a form of emotion. I never tried to tackle each event. I just enhanced this shit. Listening stuff, engaging with the right people. The actual event itself is almost irrelevant. Fix this, grow this, engage it. Trust me, every event that comes your way, you will handle it and see it in a completely different way. You will deal with it in a different way. And if your perception on life changes, everything becomes, you see things so differently, and you will see challenges and these events as a lesson. You either learn, grow, you either learn for something, or you'll live there. Your choice.
Yeah.
And I made a choice. Again, it took me a few weeks sometimes, but I made the choice to learn and grow from every single thing. And I saw the lesson there. I saw it straight away, and it weren't always easy, but it's the choice I made, and I choose happiness.
I choose happiness for me. Thank you.
I literally changed my bio to that list yesterday as well, actually.
Let's write it down.
100%.
Yeah, no, but I think the point of what I was trying to make was, it's that thing of, if you're not in that place, it's hard to understand certain things, and then it's going back to the projection of, I
do get you, like, if somebody had somebody that passed away, but I didn't.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about certain people watching this and being offended. Like, you know when, like, there's certain moments, like, we feel like we need to be like, okay, I've
got to say one thing. I've got to cut in. if anyone right now is offended with everything, it's because they believe that the problem is external, and it's not.
Yeah, so that's what...
I kind of think, well, you're going to be offended, and you're run with it then. But if you're offended right now, it's because you believe the problems are external, and they're not. The problems are always within you, and I'm sorry, unfollow me.
Yeah, unfollow me, please. Yeah, no, exactly that. I just, I can't even like put...
I've got a lot of mic drop moments right now. I just need like
just like that's it, done, dusted. Yeah, no,
definitely.
Just, like that is what I'm trying to get at. Like it's easy to, like, if you don't get something, to just not get it. Like,
you know, I don't want to offend anybody, but I just want people
to understand. No, but I'm not even talking about being offended. I'm not even talking about being offensive, to be honest. Like, I don't even know how to, like, put it into words. It's more that thing of, like, oh, I don't even know. I can't.
Okay, that's fine.
it's not happening. But yeah, no, I can't even think of a way to put it. But it's like just that way of, like, if you're not gonna get it, then you're not gonna... Oh yeah, I don't know. Never mind. Never mind. Is there anything else, Paris, that you wanted to add?
No, but one that, you know, what other thing we'll say is, I do want to use sort of this is, you know, I will help absolutely everything. I've not been through all life experiences, but if this year has taught me anything, is that I'm willing to give out more good than I ever have done in my life, and I will grow with people if they're willing to work with me. Nothing to do with my job. It's a massive, I think it's a new passion, and something that I'm so passionate about is mindset. And if you're willing to work with me, 100%, you know, send me a message. I'm there for everybody, 100%.
110%. And when you were saying that, it just made me think of a way to explain what I'm trying to say. Like, because I remember when we were talking, it was that thing of, like, us versus them. Whereas actually, like, if you can then, like, stand beside someone and see where they're coming from, then you're not going to be offended, because you're understanding, like, what's being said and the way that it's meant, instead of changing those words and making it, like, into something else that isn't what it is.
Yeah.
Does that make more sense?
No, it does. And you know what? And I get that. And I think if anyone that's watching this has watched this from start to finish, people now know everything that I've been through, give or take, and understanding that, and understanding where I am right now. You know, I'm no better than anybody. I just work on myself more than I do. That's all it is.
I think that's what can happen, is it's that way of, like, being like, well, if you think I'm saying that I'm better than you, then that's what you're seeing, because that's not what's being said.
No,
yeah,
not
exactly.
At all.
Finally, I got there.
No, not at all. And yeah, so no, that's all I've got to say. That's it, really. Yeah. I hope this has helped. I really do. I hope this has helped just one. That was my fear, not getting a good message. I really hope that if anyone's watched this and I've just helped one person just open their mind just a little bit, then awesome. That's great. I've succeeded. Definitely. Yes, definitely.
Lots of love, and I'll end it there.
Yes, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Bye.
Bye.